Okay, my name is Lee Gray and I will be the moderator for this event. During the webinar, the Parexel hiring team, along with myself, will be presenting information and a brief overview of not only Parexel, but further details on the Clinical Research Associate, the Initiation Clinical Research Associate, and Site Contract Lead positions respectively. The presentation will be followed by a question and answer session where you will have the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. If you do have any questions during the presentation, please record these in the chat box provided, and these will be answered during the Q&A session. Your first selection of panel speakers this evening will be Annick Daems, who will be explaining more about the Clinical Research Associate role. She will be followed by her colleague Stefanie Bollen, who will tell you more about the Initiation Clinical Research Associate. And finally, Maja Isailović, who will explain and share more information about our Site Contract Lead positions. Our last panel speaker this evening will be Toon Delwiche, who will tell you more about personal development within the Clinical Operations Group. Okay, so to kick us off, who are we? As mentioned earlier, I'm Lee Gray. I'm one of the principal recruiters here at Parexel, and I've been with the company for around about 10 years. I partner and support the hiring managers in the recruitment process and act as a point of contact for yourselves as potential future employees throughout the recruitment process. The main reason I've been here for so long is that I enjoy what I do. I also feel that I can make a difference by supporting the hiring of new talent into our organisation, and that will have an impact on people's lives. I support a number of our key groups here, as well as the Belgium Clinical Operations Department. These include Project Leadership for EMEA, Medical Communications, as well as both the UK and Netherlands Clinical Operations groups, respectively. So enough about me, let's find out about Parexel. Parexel is in the business of improving the world's health. As a leading global CRO, our expert team provides a suite of biopharmaceutical services that help clients across the globe transform scientific discoveries into new treatments. Since we were founded in 1982, we've grown to over 18,000 employees worldwide and have conducted trials in over 100 countries. We are proud to provide comprehensive drug development capabilities with integrated consulting services. Our global phase 1 to 4 clinical research programs are designed to navigate regulatory and market access hurdles more smoothly and cost effectively from beginning to end. The delivery of these services are underpinned by our guiding principle, we care. We know that everything we do has the potential to impact patient lives, and we show we care by taking our work seriously, demonstrating empathy and acting with heart. This guiding principle is divided into 4 areas: patients first, respect, empowerment and accountability, and finally quality. These core values represent what we stand for and what we believe in, and demonstrate our commitment both to each other and to all our stakeholders. Now, innovation is at the heart of what we do here at Parexel, and despite these unprecedented times, we are continuing to innovate and evolve. In fact, this COVID era has only accelerated our mission to put patients first, including our approaches to decentralized clinical trials, remote monitoring, etc. We're committed to putting patients and their insights at the heart of everything we do, allowing them to be expert voices in the room and help lead the way to incredible outcomes. In December 2020, our commitment was recognized when we were awarded the Best Full Service CRO by Scrip. I'll now hand over to Annick, who will introduce our Clinical Operations Group in Belgium.
Thank you, Lee, and welcome everyone on this call. So next slide, please. My name is Annick Daems. I'm the country head clinical operations in Belgium. I've been working at Parexel for about 6.5 years. Prior to that, I actually started with nursing. So I studied nursing at the University of Leuven, and I started my career as a nurse in the same city on the hepatology department. After a couple of years, I wanted to shift my focus, which was at that time individual patient care, to a more globalized approach in healthcare. And I thought that being part of clinical research would actually be a good fit. So I started as a CRA at a smaller CRO. I did their national cross-border monitoring, and then I evolved into the line manager role, which I currently still do at Parexel as I'm overseeing the CRA group. As a side activity, I'm also involved in different clinical research trainings as a trainer at the Parexel Academy, and I also lecture a clinical research course at the UCLL. So we work very closely together with a startup group, and that's led by my colleagues Maja and Stefanie. So Stefanie, please also introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Annick. So good evening. My name is Stefanie Bollen. I'm manager for clinical operations for the study startup part. I've been working at Parexel for 8 years now, and to be exactly the 8th of July last week, it's exactly 8 years. For my personal experience, I graduated in June 2013 from the KU Leuven in biomedical science. And 1 month later, I started at Parexel as clinical research associate, and I never left. During my CRA role, I was trained in different therapeutic areas. And then the last year, I took also the role for the SME part, so subject matter expert for startup and monitoring on a sponsor partnership. And through this additional role, I got a lot of exposure, and this helped me transition into my new role as of the 1st of June, so being manager for the study startup part. And I will hand it over now to Maja.
Yes, thank you, Stefanie. Thank you, Annick. My name is Maja Isailović. I'm the line manager at Site Contract Leaders Department here at Parexel. I have just turned 10 years here at Parexel. Again, Stefanie and me, nice anniversaries that we have here, and mine was actually on 1st of June. So I actually hold a master's degree in pharmacy back in Belgrade in Serbia. I had a contact with clinical trials actually working at the pharmacy in one of the biggest hospitals in Belgrade. So that was my first contact with clinical trials. And I got a chance to start working at Parexel in June 2011 as a CRA. And at that time, basically, we had the opportunity to work not only as the CRAs, but at that time as well, we were doing the startup activities as well. So basically, that allowed me to transition as well to the SEL group back in 2013, where I actually had a chance to develop my leadership skill sets. I moved to Madrid in Spain back in 2016 as the senior site contract leader. And I basically continued developing myself within this department. And now I'm the line manager at the site contract leaders, actually since 2018. So as you can see, all this, let's say, experience at Parexel allowed me to have a broad background in clinical trials management of phase 2, 3, and 4 trials in various indications. And of course, conducting the monitoring and the startup activities and the negotiation of the contracts. So thanks to Parexel, I'm really dedicated right now to leading and managing the SEL team and ensuring the successful delivery of the direct reports project developers on time and with quality. So next slide, please.
Thank you, Maja, and thank you, Stefanie, as well. So the reason why we present ourselves as a team is because it's part of our vision at ClinOps. We combine the strength, the experience, the expertise that each role and individual contributes to delivering actually the highest quality of work. And in order to streamline this, it's important that we communicate with each other, that we understand each other's expectations, but also understand each other's responsibilities. So we really need to work together as a team. We all have the same goal of getting patients that are in need of treatment access to this. But at the same time, our daily life at work, that should also be nurtured with mutual respect. So we need to enforce each other's strengths. We need to support each other's weaknesses. So we're all human beings, and it's not only the mutual goal that should receive attention, but also the journey that leads to it. So that's why we find it important that everybody within clinical operations in each role knows what they can expect from each other, and that we all really do our part into it. Next slide, please. So before diving into the specific roles that we have in the clinical operations department in Belgium, I just wanted to pause and show you the diversity of clinical trials that we have at this moment, or better said, within the past 5 years in Belgium. I do want to make two important remarks. So if you look at the slide, you can see clearly there's a high diversity within the therapeutic areas. But we do have one very big part of our studies that are situated in the hematology and oncology departments. So the majority of our studies are really oncology studies. My second comment is that those studies are referring to investigational medicinal products, so not medical devices. The clinical operations department that we're referring to today focuses mainly on phase 2-3 studies. We also have the phase 1 studies. The observational non-interventional studies, they are offered by Parexel in Belgium, but it's within a different department. Can we go to the next slide, please? So how does our department look like? So the clinical operations department consists of CRAs, clinical research associates. So the majority of our colleagues are within this role. This is a hybrid role where the CRA manages the study and the sites both remotely as on site. So we do not make the split between fully in-house, fully on-site CRAs. The CRAs really responsible holistically for their sites, combining those two parts. Our main focus as a CRA is Belgium. So Luxembourg is technically also part of our scope, but we currently focus on Belgium. It can be that cross-border monitoring can be requested. This is rather exceptional, and it will always be discussed with the CRA to see that's also in line with their expectations. Secondly, we have the clinical operations assistant or COA role. The COA supports the rest of the team administratively, so they help with scanning of documents, filing of documents, supporting with translations, preparation of investigator site files, etc. We can also have you start your career at Parexel as a CRA or as an ICRA as a trainee. So at Parexel, we have a traineeship, and this will be much more explained by Toon later on. But it's good for you to know that you can actually start as a newly graduate at Parexel and immediately be part of our team. The clinical operations team for CRAs are supported by 3 line managers. That's Toon, myself, and Lisbeth. The clinical operations SSU that contains the ICRAs, Initiation Clinical Research Associates, and that will be later presented by Stefanie. And Maja will present the proposals and contract group. So we have a nice mix of colleagues. They're both Dutch and French speaking colleagues who are partially or fully office or home-based. Next slide, please. We are looking for people with heart, really putting the patients first. So we're not just looking for someone with a checklist who just goes over everything that needs to be done. But we really want you as a CRA or as an ICRA or a CSA negotiator to approach the sites holistically as a trusted advisor. So understanding how best you can support the site in reaching their goal, being this site activation, first patient in, preparation for an audit. In each phase of the study, we emphasize this holistic and site-centered approach. So it's very important that we build a trusting relationship with each counterpart at site level. Next slide, please. So looking more into the CRA role then, so as a CRA, we want you to own success of your sites by being this trusted advisor, meaning that you are accountable for the process at each site level, making sure that you are credible, knowledgeable, that you communicate and put the sites first in your communication. We want you to understand what makes this study so important for this sponsor, and then link this knowledge with the expertise and the needs of the site. So we want you as a CRA to really understand where the expertise of the sponsor is in the knowledge of their product, in understanding what for them is important in this product. We want you to understand what the expertise is at the site level. They have the expertise in their patients. They know their patients and the disease best. And we are very good in the processes. We understand how we can all translate this within the processes in order to transfer this to data within the clinical study setting. So by understanding the individual character of each site and fitting this within the general frame and expectations of the study, you as a CRA can manage your sites in a more personalized manner. And that will lead ultimately to a higher satisfaction of both sponsor, site, and yourself, and also more efficiency. So we have the data-driven monitoring tool, DDM tool, that is based not only on risk factors, but also on SDV work and workloads. And that can be used as a tool for the CRA. So the mix of remote and on-site monitoring even goes further in ensuring that your time is allocated correctly and efficiently. Especially because studies are becoming more and more complex, it's key to know that which sites really need your attention. You can only find that out by looking at the data, but also communicating regularly with your site staff. Related to career development as a CRA, within the CRA role, there are plenty of opportunities within Parexel. You have, of course, the potential of growing from a trainee to CRA 1 to senior, but you can expand your experience broadly by differentiating in sponsors or therapeutic areas. Or if you prefer to specialize and become a subject matter expert, as Stefanie mentioned before, this is also possible. In addition, outside of the clinical operations department, we also have an outsourcing model where you are dedicated to one sponsor. And we also have a hybrid role where you are still within Parexel, but the project is managed by the client. So within ClinOps, not only the monitoring is done by Parexel, but the study is actually fully managed by us. Next slide, please.
Okay, so I'm currently managing the ICOA team in Belgium and also a part of France. So as an ICOA, it might be that you will be responsible for feasibility. You will also need to review startup timelines in close collaboration with the project teams, and also perhaps revise timelines based upon the study status. As an ICUA, you will work on the customization of the ICFs. You will perform the EC submission. Regulatory submission is done by another department of Parexel. You will also be in close contact with the site for collection of regulatory documents, and you will also be working with the sites to have them perform all site trainings and gain all access like CRF, IVRS. So this is something that's normally not done by the CUA, but by the ICUA. But of course, you will work in close collaboration with the CUA and also with the contracting team, as you all have the same goal in the end, and that's driving sites towards SIV ready and site activation. So next slide, please.
Yes, and just to add as what Stefanie said, so of course the SEL department is part of the SSU, basically negotiating contracts with the sites and contributing to that SAV. Basically, within the SEL team, we do look into growing as a team and making the team basically who can help drive and streamline process to actually help reduce overall contract turnaround timelines. And basically, as Annick said, in that way, we of course contribute to that philosophy of we care and patients first. Of course, as the COL, the opportunity that you have is basically to negotiate with sites at the country level, to act as a country-specific SME for site negotiations, and basically help gain expertise in local regulations and working practices, as well as the local language requirements and, of course, customs. Basically, again, just to add, as what Stefanie mentioned before, we do look for the very close collaboration within our teams, ICRAs and CRAs as well, because we all do have the same goal, and that is basically to drive sites towards the SAV ready and activation. Next slide, please.
So what can we expect from each other? As you already noticed, so even though that everybody has their own expertise within their role, we really want to work towards the same goal. The ICRA, the CZA negotiator, the CRA, we all do our part to get the patients in and to give them this treatment. So teamwork is for us very important, and this is also something that we offer. It's being part of our team, taking on your ownership within your role, but still collaborating and communicating together. So this is really embedded in our One Parexel culture. What we also really want you to take on is see where are the weak spots and what can we do by it. Really drive your sites to the solution by being proactive, taking initiative, and we as a line manager, we are there to support you. What we often hear as a line manager when people come to us saying, no, we find it very important to be independent in our work, and that is something that we very much offer. So we leave it up to you to design how you want to manage your sites, how you want to manage your process, but we are there on the sideline to support you, to ask questions, or to provide you with any answers. So that's how we work together within the line management team and with the rest of the team. What we very much also expect is first-time quality. So by owning your process, you as a CRA, ICRA, or CZA negotiator, you very much know when which document is expected, when which process needs to be in place. So really strive towards this first-time quality because it will benefit at the end all parties. CRAs, as I mentioned, so we really focus on Belgium. It can be that your sites are spread over the Belgian landscape, if I may say so. So there is a request or willingness to travel within Belgium. As I said, cross-border monitoring is more on an exceptional basis. We do sometimes have CRAs asking proactively for this. So if this is part of your development as an individual, then for sure this is something that we take into account. The same with your wish to develop further a certain social skill, soft skill, or therapeutic area. These are things that we talk about on a regular basis during the one-to-ones, but also at certain points we go a bit more in depth. So at Parexel, we don't only have company goals, we also have personal individual goals. Really something that you highlight is important for you, for your own personal development. And that's something that you can expect from us, making sure that you have the time, the opportunity to work on that. And what we also really expect from you is to be part of our team, to really make sure that we all work on a constructive, collaborative, constructive way to get towards each goal. We are a big company. We have a lot of tools and systems that enhance us in making sure that we can deliver these goals. It does mean that also you do need a bit of IT skills to train yourself on those systems and to manage them properly. So okay, that was it about the expectations. Toon?
Hi, welcome everybody. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So my name is Toon Delwiche. I'm a manager clinical operations, and I've been with Parexel for more than 10 years. Still consider myself young. I have an education in a master in movement science and physical education. I started this at the KU Leuven, but before that I did a professional bachelor in physical education and biology. I learned during my internships that teaching was not for me, and at this time I thought, yeah, what else is there? And that's when I decided to do a master in movement science to give me a bit more time to take a decision on what I would do with my life. And during this educational setup, I learned about clinical research. It was really part of this educational program. And we did like a traineeship and internship with on clinical research. We followed the CRA for a day, and I immediately thought this is something from me. So what I did when I graduated, I applied for a CRA position at Parexel, and I was one of the lucky ones that was accepted. It was in 2010, and I immediately got a chance to start as a junior CRA at Parexel. And in the beginning, I was office-based. And I have to tell you, it is quite challenging starting as a junior CRA, learning a lot of things, getting a lot of information, and in between also managing your sites and doing your job really. So, but I managed, and I went on to stay with Parexel, and I became a senior CRA at Parexel. I moved from office-based to home-based, and believe me, now it is common to be home-based, and we have webcams and we do virtual meetings. But at that time that I became home-based, it was not that evolved, even it was not that long ago, but webcam meetings, it was not yet a thing. And it was quite special to work from home at that time. I also gained some special experiences by monitoring in the United Kingdom and in the Netherlands. And I have to tell you that it is quite different. The sites are differently organized in the United Kingdom, and also in the Netherlands. It is really a nice experiences, and I learned a lot during these specific assignments. What I also learned was the FSP part, meaning the functional service provider part. It means that I was assigned to one specific client at Parexel, and it was quite different because I was working according to the client SOPs. I used the client's tools, platforms, and systems, and sometimes even the hardware of the client. So really dedicated to one specific client, but still an employee at Parexel. So also a very nice opportunity. I was really happy with this, learned a lot about the client life, got to know a lot of new people, and yeah, really, really interesting. At that time, I was working at home in my house because I had some parental leave and for several months. And one of my close colleagues, she called me and she said, I know you're not working, but we have an opportunity for you. There is an opportunity to do a development to a CRA super user. And I immediately went home from the construction site and I applied for the CRA super user role. I did an interview several weeks later, and after a couple of weeks, I got the role. So a super user, to explain, is really like a system expert that is being available for CRAs for all over the world to ask for support. So you are really only being a super user, no more studies, and people are really coming to you with questions on systems, but also on processes. And sometimes these questions are very easy and you are very easy to help them, but other times it is more complicated and you have to involve like an IT architect or a programmer to really resolve the issue. This is also something I really liked by helping people and by being available for others. And then I got an opportunity to become a line manager, and I also applied for that, and I was really happy to be selected. And this is something I enjoy doing still today. So I'm really grateful for the path that was given me. And I took every opportunity and reached out for everything that was handed to me. So I'm very grateful for this. So on the next slide, I struggled in the beginning with being a CRA at Parexel and doing the studies together with all of the educational parts and learning things and asking questions. And luckily, now we have a traineeship program for people that do not have experience as a CRA or in clinical research. So this is a very nice thing because those people will have a chance to learn and to be exposed to different concepts of clinical trials, also educated and really experience the different parts of an ICRA, of a CRA. So there are three big pillars in a traineeship program. One of them is theory, where that you will follow specific courses, and these courses are being provided by certified instructors, Parexel instructors mainly, or trainers, and they will provide dedicated programs and courses. For example, the ICH-ECP course or a course on local regulations, and these things are really organized during the traineeship. On the other hand, there is a pillar where we focus on skills, and these skills can be soft skills, and those are mainly provided by external trainers or instructors from an external company, and they will provide some courses on whatever you need, really. If you are in a need of time management skills, this can be organized, or if you want to learn more about communication or things about technical things from OneNote or specific software like Excel, those can be arranged, and mainly these are provided by external people, except of course the Parexel systems and tools, those are provided by our own instructors. The next pillar is the practice pillar, or the exposure and experience pillar, where that you will be exposed to different tasks in the role of a CRA or an ICRA. So these tasks in the beginning will be mainly observable tasks, and gradually the responsibilities will be increasing so that you will be included in doing a specific task where that a mentor, typically this is a senior CRA, is next to you and coaching you and looking how that you are doing. It can also be a line manager, by the way. And if we see that everything is going well, then we can increase responsibility and give more responsibilities for your specific role, also for your specific task, so that you maybe are doing independent things with also some follow-up by the line manager. We will have, of course, supervision and coaching by the line manager, by the mentor, and there will be regular meetings on a weekly basis with the line manager and with the mentor, and there will be monthly evaluations in order to support the growth and the needs. And like Annick told you some moments ago, the personal development is really something that we find important. And this is something that can really differ from people to people. So we have like a fixed milestone program, but also there is a lot of opportunity to make it kind of individual. And we ask for the person or the trainee or the candidates to really take the traineeship in his or her hands and take ownership and make as much as possible of it. Of course, the line manager and the mentor will be there to support and to practically arrange things, but it is really in the hands of the candidates to make the most out of it. And if we see on the next slides, then we will see that also the specific pillars and these milestones are really over the course of the traineeship, but also later. So the specific curriculum, these things are fixed, like the induction, the Parexel SOPs and the manuals, the local regulations. The HPCSM is a big training of 1 week duration where that you are educated on clinical research and all aspects of clinical site management. And this is something fixed. We also have the on-the-job training, like therapeutic area training, but also an annual certification for CRAs, also the visits, observational visits, and also visits where that you are more doing these kind of visits, and you will be coached and guided. And then the personal development, this is something that also continues after that you succeed the traineeship program, where that we will have the performance development conversations, and we focus on performance aspects, but also on development aspects to see where are you today, what else do you need to reach your goals, what can we do, what do you need from us. We provide continuous feedback and there's always support, and we have an eye focus on your continuous education, your growth and your professional skills. The coaching is being done during regular one-to-ones and interim evaluations as during the traineeship as well. So on the next slide, you will see some current employees of Parexel, with showing their opinion on what they think of the CRA role or the ICRA role and Parexel in general. And on the top left, we have Anne-Benedict, and Anne-Benedict is actually one of the previous trainees who was promoted to CRA in February. So she started last year in September, and 5 months later, because the traineeship is a 5-month duration program, Anne-Benedict was successfully promoted to CRA. Very difficult situation, also taking into account the COVID and the home-based working that we are now facing with. And since that she's promoted to CRA, she's really been a fixed value for Parexel and doing a fantastic job. On the other side, below Anne-Benedict, we have Arne. Arne is also a very motivated CRA, aiming for high quality, fixed value within Parexel. He's a very good asset, and he's a CRA too. Jessica also was one of the people that starting in the middle of COVID periods, and also for her, she had some challenges with working from home, and she was happy with the support, and she really liked the different studies. So she was included in a COVID-19 study, but also in the different study. And Jessica is also doing a fantastic job and also very fixed value for Parexel. Below Jessica, we have Charlotte, and Charlotte is one of the ICRAs, also one of the newest people at Parexel, and also a very fantastic person that is doing a great job and learning a lot at a very fast pace. So on the next slide, so as I mentioned, many people have started also during the COVID, and it's been a special situation, of course. And we still try, independently of COVID, trying to boost and keep the atmosphere alive and have a nice team environment. So we can see that among colleagues, we have nice professional and close professional relationships, and also even friendships among colleagues who are meeting after work. This is then maybe before or after COVID, let's say. And what we also do is the buddy system. And the buddy system is something we implement for a new person that has been a new hire at Parexel. And we try to link this person to a specific buddy. And it can be someone on the same partnership or the same kind of studies, but also where we feel they make a good fit, a good connection, or they have something in common. And this is really helpful to, especially also during COVID, if there are specific small questions or they can do a chat. Meetings, we have regular meetings, we have team meetings. They were normally face-to-face. We have the cleanups meeting, there is a CRA meeting, the ICRA meeting. Now they are virtual via Microsoft Teams with the webcam, also very nice. And we hope we can get back to the face-to-face team meetings soon. The normal team meetings over webcams is also still a thing. And then we have the one-to-one meetings with the line manager. And starting COVID, we started to organize the together apart drinks. Everybody was working from home and maybe could feel some kind of disconnection. And then we started to informal meetings on a Tuesday during the working hours where people could call in. It was not mandatory, but everything could be discussed, like informal chats, like we would do in the kitchen next to the drinking fountain, next to the coffee machine. We would do it like that. You could take a drink and do a chat with the colleagues. Events is also a big part of the team building and the atmosphere, and you will see some pictures in the later slides. We have the wellness team that is doing events on wellness, like relaxation and sportivity. We have a Christmas event and a summer event where that we come together and do something nice, something fun. So on the next slide, you can see that we also value diversity and inclusion, and it's a big thing at Parexel, but also in Parexel Belgium. And we have also in the WAVE office, we have people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, and it's like a big team. So we are discussing with each other in different languages. So the official language is, of course, English in email communications and in team meetings. But among colleagues, I talk French, I talk Dutch, I talk English. It's really a mixture. So we have some people with a Polish background, with Korean backgrounds, and it's really nice to have these kind of nationalities and these backgrounds to make one big team. Yeah, on the next slide, you can see the pictures of one of the several events. You can see it's a nice atmosphere where that we did some games, or we did some eating events, and there's also something that is being organized by different people, and it's really fun and games, things like that. So on the next slides, I hand over to Lee.
Okay, thank you, Toon. That was great. So let me tell you more about what Parexel has to offer. Parexel is proud to offer a flexible benefits scheme. These benefits include our CRA incentive plan. This allows you to earn a percentage of your salary every quarter for performing both remote and on-site monitoring visits. We provide a company car to all our CRAs to help with travel. Please note, though, this is purely for the CRAs and is not applicable to their site contract lead or initiation, clinical research associate roles. We offer a flexible working policy to allow a better work-life balance. We have a good number of both annual leave and vacation days. We provide private medical insurance. We also provide a pension plan. We also offer lunch vouchers, which are €8 a day. We also provide an eco voucher, which is €250 per annum. We also offer a home working allowance as well. So this is around about €125 per month, and that's if you are working fully 5 days from home. And all of our CRAs also receive an iPhone to help them when they travel. So what do you need to be successful at Parexel in these roles? Firstly, you will need previous experience in either on-site monitoring, study startup or site contracts respectively, possess strong organisational and time management skills to navigate the clinical trial milestones, have a good work ethic and a desire to consistently achieve a high standard of work to please our clients, be able to work and think independently to create resolutions or challenges to obstacles, act with a sense of urgency to drive the study forward. For our CRAs, you will need to be able to travel fully across Belgium. On average, this is approximately around about 19 visits per quarter. And finally, as mentioned earlier, communication skills are important. You will need to speak fluently in both English and Dutch and be conversational in French, or alternatively be fluent in English and French and conversational in Dutch. From an academic standpoint, you will also need to possess a life science or a related scientific degree, or have strong previous experience in one of the related areas. This now concludes our presentation, and we will be opening the floor for our questions and answer session. If you'd like to ask a question, you may do so by using the chat box as seen here on the screen. So I'm just going to wait for a few questions to come in, some of which we already have. A question from one of the attendees is, how long does the internship or the traineeship last?
Yeah, so I will take this one. So I mentioned it, but I realized it was later in the presentation. So the course is 5 months of duration, and typically it starts after the graduation of the student, so September until February, so 5 months in duration.
Okay, thank you, Toon. Another question we have is, what successful changes did the team make during the pandemic that you've now adopted moving forward, and why?
I can take this question. Well, definitely remote monitoring is much more in place nowadays. Again, we have the data-driven monitoring tool for several years already, and the fact that we already were quite knowledgeable on using this tool really helped us within this unexpected COVID situation where we needed to quickly adapt. And this tool really gives us insight on how best to approach a site and to support the site. And remote monitoring is really part of that. So the system was already in place. The impact because of it was quite minimal, and we just really keep on using it and actually more developing the tool to support us in the future. So that's one of the things that we definitely not necessarily changed, but increased in use, I would say. Also, the remote qualification visits are much more in common, mainly because it's demanded by the sites. I think the sites also see the benefits of having certain items done remotely. So we quickly adapted on that and adjusted our way of working. The Microsoft Teams is a tool, and it's actually a tremendous support tool, I would say, to share information. So we've really used, well, actually we initiated it in the beginning of the pandemic, and it's a really nice tool to share information, to keep each other informed closely, and also when you have a meeting on a project or a one-to-one, you can use a video function. So this helps us to connect better. It doesn't replace live chats, I would say, but definitely it's something that we use. So there are a lot of changes done, but I would say changes that really people of our team have felt. I think those are already some examples set forth.
Okay, thanks, Annick. Another question we have is, when someone is hired at Parexel, how long before they are assigned to a project, or how long does it take to kind of complete the initial training?
Yeah, well, Maja here, I can maybe help here with at least the SEL department and our group. Well, of course, as you could hear during the presentation, we do have a number of course, systems and tools basically that we do have to be very familiar with, and of course, fully trained. So there is an expectation, of course, that a good amount of time will be used in order to train all our team members to be actually very experts, let's say, in all the systems and tools. So let's say around the month time, it's something that we would definitely prioritize the trainings part, and then steadily or smoothly, gradually, basically, we will be, let's say, introducing the teams with the assignments. At least from our department, we of course can start with something like working on the amendments, maybe not directly with the agreements. And of course, what we would also apply here would be some kind of mentorship in a way that more senior team members will be helping the new colleagues coming on board, either by sharing the study or basically sort of shadowing, of course, the work that they will be assigned to. So hopefully this helps.
Excellent, thank you, Maja. Another question we have, can you speak about the commitment to work-life balance at Parexel?
I can take this one. For the work-life balance is actually very well managed. Like it is already in the slide, it is a 40-hour work week, but this of course also depends on the project status. It might be that there are periods when there is more work, so you will work a bit more, but this is always in balance and most of the time followed by a period that is more calm. So it can be with peaks of activity. So it depends on the study status, but what Parexel also offers are the 6 extra legal holidays as a kind of recognition to the employees.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Stefanie. And another one we have is, many of you have worked within the industry for many years, including other CROs. What made you come to Parexel and why do you stay, basically?
Yeah, I can take that one because actually I worked at a previous CRO and some of us actually started our career at Parexel. So personally, I started at a smaller CRO and I wanted to expand my knowledge. I chose Parexel because they had many more opportunities, I would say, related to exposure of sponsors, exposure of therapeutic areas, often within smaller CROs, or at least where I worked, we tended to specialize in therapeutic areas, but also the systems, the processes are much more expanded at Parexel. The investment that is done to keep up with the technology, to bundle the expertise, the talent is really impressive, actually. Every day I am amazed of the dedication that our people show. They really put their heart into it. Also, the efforts done to train people adequately, ensure quality, are really reasons for me wanting to stay. And the traineeship program is a very nice example of that. We will be doing it for the 6th year. So that really shows that we have the expertise in training people, making sure that people know what they need to do in their role. And you can also see, just looking at our slides, a lot of people work for many years at Parexel. So I believe that that at itself is already a strong sign, and so that speaks for itself.
Oh, thank you, Annick. Only a couple more questions left. The next one is, what is the best thing about working at Parexel and what is also the most challenging?
I can take this one. So for the best part when you start is actually the onboarding. The management team and also the rest of the team is very supportive. There was a lot of internal training, also the observational tasks. And then further on, the team sphere, it's a very nice atmosphere. That's also mentioned on the slides. Even with COVID now, they are virtual together a bar drink. and calls to stay connected with the team. And then also something that Annick mentioned, like the exposure for your personal development, for soft skills. The management is very open to discuss those items and to help you guide you actually with that in the right direction. And then for challenges, actually also via this last topic, you can challenge yourself, for example, to be exposed to new tasks, different types of studies. So you can really make your own part in it.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Stefanie. Are you accepting relocation? So, for example, I live in Italy and I can speak fluent French, English, and Italian, and I'm a clinical trial supervisor. Would that be acceptable?
Yeah, I can take this one. It really depends on which role you're looking for. So we now highlighted three typical roles within the clinical operations department, but there are other opportunities within Belgium as well. So you're always welcome to reach out to us and to see what exactly your expectation is, which kind of path you want to proceed in your career, and then we can better align to see what your expectations are and our expectations. So please reach out to us individually, and we will take a closer look to that.
Oh, thanks, Annick. And I think we've got one final question now. I finished my clinical management training at the Parexel Academy in Berlin. Is there any advantage when applying for a CRA position in Parexel when you possess this?
I think this definitely is a really good training that you've done, and this for sure will help you position yourself. So I think there's a lot of added value in the training. It's quite an extensive training, which you most likely know. It's been most likely very intense the past months for you. So I do see this as an advantage when applying. So please proceed, I would say.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Annick. I mean, that's all the questions we've got now. We're near the top of the hour. It's been our pleasure to speak with you today. Feel free to connect with any of us on LinkedIn, at our email addresses, or on social media. If you're interested in joining our innovative team, take a moment to visit jobs.parexel.com. You'll also receive this information after the event with a link to the recorded session. Thank you all again for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you. Enjoy the rest of your day. This session will now be ending.